Matthew here from Tangleman Tactical, and I have a trigger swap that I'm going to do on my 14.5 inch Bushmaster. And it's only a Bushmaster because of the lower, to be quite honest. Regardless, right now I have a Geissele Super Dynamic 3-gun trigger that has been Cerakoted to match all the other accent pieces. And Geissele does make 2-stage triggers. They make single-stage triggers. This is a hybrid trigger. It has a little bit of take-up before it actually breaks. But I have a couple of these, and these, along with the Hiperfire clips, are the best triggers I've ever shot, period. And I've shot a lot of triggers. Not every trigger on the market, but I've shot a lot of triggers. So this is, for all intents purposes, my precision rifle, although technically it's not a precision rifle. Regardless though, it's the one that I have fine-tuned the most. So with that being said, to make longer shots, I thought to myself, I need to put a 2-stage trigger in this just so I can have a better feel for the trigger when I'm making those longer shots. So I could have very well called Geissele and spoke to them and get them to send me out something, so on and so forth, but I didn't, because I reached out to Hiperfire, and I want to give a shout out to Chris Blackledge. Give a shout out to Chris. I've worked with him a couple different times on a couple different triggers, and we've talked a couple different times for lengthy conversations. And so I hounded him about the newer, it's not brand new, but I hounded him about this Hiperfire X2S Mod-3 2-stage trigger. Now you can, and it is the flat bow trigger. I like flat bows. I'm not really into curved triggers. But with that being said, I hounded him about sending me one to review. And I get it. I'm small time. I got 500 subs, 500 and something subs. I don't have 5, 10, 15, 20,000 subs like, a lot of other people do. Because as I've stated in the past before, this is kind of my firearm journey chronicle. I'm not on here to inform you of how to do this and how to do that from a military technical aspect if you're at the range shooting or whatnot. But one thing that I am confident in is building, Cerakoting, and upgrading the AR platform. I'm not a master by any stretch of the imagination, but I have built 31 to date. And I have the 32nd is coming up. I don't know exactly when, but I've already sifted through and I've got a lot of the parts already. But regardless, that's down the road. So to get back to Chris and Hiperfire, it never hurts to ask. So if you're out there and you're a small channel, you're just a speck or just a grain of sand on a beach, don't think that people won't send you things, won't send you stuff to review or to try out just because you're not, Garand Thumb or Lucas Botkin or whoever that has, or Hickok 45 that has these just insane amount of subscribers. So anyways, to get back to Chris, I said, Chris, I really want to try out this 2-stage. I have the perfect platform for it to go in, and would you send me one? And as soon as I'm done with it, I'll send it back to you after I put a couple hundred rounds through it and see how it feels. And he said, I don't see where that would be a problem. He says, I'm leaving town. I'll be out for a bit, but when I get back, I'll make it happen. I said, thank you, I appreciate it. You know, I was a bit shocked, to be honest. But Superlative Arms has sent me an adjustable gas block and gave me a pretty good discount on my piston system. So you can throw them in there, as well as somebody sending me some things. And then for that matter, Tacticon Armament has sent me some things also. Nothing major. We're talking like $40 and below. This trigger here, before taxes and shipping, from Hiperfire is $225. So several weeks passed. I didn't hear anything from Chris. So what I done is just wore out the email and wore out the phone. And I guess I pestered him enough that just one day, out of the blue, checking my mailbox, and package came in, and boom, that's what was in it. You can see all the parts there. You can see the hammer. You can see the trigger assembly. You can see over here, right over here where my thumb is, underneath my thumb, that is part of your spring system, which these springs right here, these long springs, can make this trigger either a 3.5 ounce pull, or pound pull, I'm sorry, or a 4.5 pound pull. And I'm going to do the 3.5 on this particular setup that I have. And once again, there's all the info and so on and so forth. But huge shout out to Chris. Thank him for sending this. And this trigger is durable enough. It's durable enough and strong enough that you can put it in a PCC. So if you have an AR-9 or an AR-45 or whatever, you can put it in there and it will handle blowbacks. Blowbacks are very, very, very arduous on blowbacks. Normal triggers are, but they've designed this in such a way that you can put it in a blowback and you're still fine. You'll still be covered under your warranty. So I'm going to install this trigger, and then we'll look at it, look at the pull, the brake, the reset, those type of things. I don't have my gauge. I gave it to a buddy, and I ain't seen him in a bit, so I don't have it, so I can't really pull to double check what the poundage is. So I apologize on that part. But to sum this up, we're going to take this it's Geisley Super Dynamic 3-gun trigger with the flat bow. This is set at 3.5 pounds. We're going to take this out because this type of build would be more in tune for this trigger. So this is of the 7 ARs that I have, this is the platform I've chosen to put that trigger in and try it out and see what happens. So I'm not going to show me installing it. Most everybody knows how to install a trigger. It's not difficult. And if you do buy a Hiperfire, they've got a video on every one of their triggers on how to install them. So I would just direct you to Hiperfire, because if I put this trigger and show you the full video of me putting it in, then I'm risking my channel. And I get it, people say, oh, just, suck it up and do it and don't worry about it. I get all that, but I've already got a warning, and the next thing that's going to come is a strike. And I just really don't want to strike, to be quite honest. So with that being said, I'm going to install it, and then once I get it installed, then I'm going to show you the trigger prep, the trigger prep, the wall, the brake, the reset, and then how it looks in this platform right here. Then further on, we'll go out to the range and get some good video on me shooting this as a two-stage and then just doing straight pulls, seeing how fast I can rip this trigger. So that's what we're going to do, but I'll get back with you when I have the trigger in and be able to show you at least the pull to the wall, the brake, hold it back, rack it, reset it, and then show you the reset the trigger, but show you the reset of the trigger and go from there. So once again, this is my 14.5 inch Bushmaster that has the LVPO is 1x6x24, which is, I really would rather have a 1x10, but that will have to wait a while just so you can get out there and see further. And it does have the canted red dot on the side for, 20, 30, 40, even 50 yards and in. So the next time that I see you, I'll have the trigger in, and then I will show you the pull, the brake, and the reset. So we'll be back with you in just a minute. All right, we're back again. I do have the trigger installed, as you can tell. I've got the trigger pad down in its lowest setting, but it's pretty straightforward install. Once again, I didn't show it. The reason being that, I don't want to get a strike, as I already have a warning. But the Hiperfire X2S Mod 3, it's what I have in it. I took out my Geisley that I had. There's that. I Cerakoted the trigger portion of it to match the other silver accents that I have on this firearm. And I'm going to show you the pull on it, the first stage and the second stage, and then we'll rack it and then we'll go from there. Now in this video, obviously I'm not going to shoot it because I'm in my workshop right now. Hopefully I'll get out tomorrow or the next day and put some rounds through it and just kind of get a feel for it. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to deselect it, and then we're going to try the trigger out. Now, just so everybody knows, we are clear. It's a mag in there, but there's nothing in there. You see that? There's nothing in there. Okay, so use our bad lever to send it forward. Okay, again, like I said, there's nothing in there. Now we're going to deselect from the right side to fire. I have a 90 degree throw on this one. Most all my other ARs have it's either a 45 or a 60, something like that. But here we're going to watch. And again, I'm sorry for not having my pull weight gauge. See that right there? That's your take up. Right there. So you got take up. Sorry for the shaky camera. Take up, and then that's it. I mean, that's it. That is, that's something else, in my opinion. Try it again. Send a bolt forward. Okay. I know I probably didn't give people seizures from this camera wiggling so much, but there's your take up right there. You seeing that? That's your take up. So once you get your take up, it's not much more. I want to say it breaks. It has to be 2 millimeters. It can't be much more than that. We'll do it one more time. Let's rack it. Okay. I'm with no camera help today, so this is why I'm doing all this on my own. So let's hit our bad lever, send the bolt forward. So again, that's your take up right there. When you're there, you're at the wall. There, wall. So you're going to come here. I mean, it's just not much at all. And I've tried to pull the trigger, rack it, and then let off to find the reset, but I really couldn't find the reset on this. Maybe because it's a two-stage and they act a little different than a single stage. I don't know, so I can't speak on that. But just what I felt so far on this trigger, once again, not fired it yet, I feel like it's going to be a very nice trigger. It's very crisp. The first pull on it is almost nothing. I'll do it one last time. Okay. Send the bolt forward. So that's your first stage. That's your first stage. Very nice. Once again, this is all new, so a lot of some of this will break in, but I don't know that it needs to be broken in. But first stage is 100% definite. There's no way you can miss the first stage on this. It's unless you're just somebody shooting for the first time or something, I guess. But first stage, maybe 3 millimeters, maybe. And then it just immediately breaks after you hit that wall. Once you've got your wall and you continue to pull back further, it immediately breaks. So that's very impressive. All right, I didn't really want to make the video this long. It's coming up on 18 minutes. Probably lost half my viewers on it. But this is the Hiperfire X2S Mod 3. What we'll do from here is go to the range and get some rounds through it, get some video on it. So this is basically review part 1. And so far, everything that I put the green springs in, they're the lighter, the red ones are the heavier ones. They actually got them backwards on the installation. They tell you that the green ones are heavy and the red ones are lighter. Well, I know that's wrong because I've swapped them both out and I can tell that the green ones are a lot lighter than the red ones. But like I said, Bushmaster 14.5 inch. It's real good internals. Vaxxin, superlative arms, silent capture spring system that has the buffer already integrated in it. So we're going to end this video right here. The next video you'll see concerning this firearm and this Hiperfire 2-stage trigger will be me shooting it at the range and letting you look at the performance of the trigger, how well you can make distance shots with it, and then also if I'm able to just run it just like my Geisley Super Dynamic. Can I just run this trigger and will it, just make brass rainbows? So we'll see. But like I said, from the beginning, everything is putting it in. This is the 4th one I've installed, so I already know the little quirks about it. Once again, they got videos on their website to show you how to properly put these in. Now I'm excited to get it to the range and try this 2-stage trigger out and see what happens. Once again, another shout out to Chris at Hiperfire for sending this to me to do a review on. So stay sober, stay vigilant, and God bless. Ah!